All right, now since I'm kind of slow to update the website because just one more thing to do. I wanted to update everybody. A lot of folks are used to getting a module that looks pretty much like this. This is a 7 watt, and it comes with three 5010 fans on there, and it does a pretty good job. It does pretty good airflow. I say pretty good because the V2 module that I made is significantly improved. But I just, it's basically the same exact thing. It's just another laser diode completely designed around, or another laser module completely designed around the cooling system. Except I believe that this module has even better cooling. The V2 module has even better cooling. It's simpler, it's user serviceable. There's a lot of benefits to it versus it's a lot simpler for even me to put together. There's wires soldered. This is not really user serviceable, and the reason for that is because the 3D printing resin is not really the best material to be making functional parts out of. But if you make it nice and thick and you use a good resin blend, you can still get a part that is quality and lasts for a long time. Instead of a 50-10 fan, this has a 60-25. All right. I finally got around to watching some movies on how fans work and why, and I feel that although a blower, or this isn't a blower fan, this is a bladed fan. Although these are kind of being misused generally, this still pumps enough airflow that it works quite well. So what I did was, I have a space up here for after my driver boards are, operational and tested. They're gonna go right in there. But for right now, I'm using an imported driver, and I've located that at the front of the housing. I usually use 2 different drivers, but sometimes due to availability, and hence why I'm making my driver in the first place, because getting stuff out of China is just malarkey, as you, I'm sure, well know by now. So this is a 60-25 fan. It pumps a hell of a lot of air. I've literally assembled this with zip ties. And why? Because it's simple, it's lightweight, and it's user serviceable, and you never have to worry about when you screw screws into resin, you run the risk of cracking the housing, and then that's going to put you and your laser module down for a while. So this is keep it simple stupid here. This is like, why make it more complicated? So you can, anytime you would need to service this, say something crazy happens, the laser module burns out, the diode gives the ghost, the magic smoke escapes, etc. Shit happens, right? So all you have to do is, there are 4 bolts now and 4 zip ties, and this whole thing is just apart and in your hands in several pieces. The wiring harness pops out of the back here, and it's a simple 3-wire connection for a 2 watt, a 3.5 watt, a 5 watt, and then the 7 watt still needs its own power supply. So that'll be a little different, but it's not a big deal. But so this is the form factor that all the lasers are going to come in. It's still got the same exact dovetail. It's got a 33 millimeter mount for the stock LX makers, and it's also got a 4-bolt pattern. I can throw my caliper on it. It's in the house. And see, I forget how many offhand the distances between these bolts. But this whole unit, it just bolts on just like this. You run your wires. There's no longer a stationary driver. It's all enclosed in one unit. And you just run this through your cable chain or other, and Bob's your uncle, This thing, I've specifically placed the driver to direct the airflow down across the heatsink in these models that are not going out using my custom driver yet. I just for right now, the Chinese, they've been making these drivers for a while, and I got to send testers out first before you know, because I gotta I gotta deal with the repercussions if my driver starts blowing diodes or something, which it won't, but you know, I mean, things happen. So this is a basic rundown. This is the V1 module for the 2-watt. It was 34010 fans, and then a separate standalone driver. Now it's all in one unit. It's simple. It's one wire. You walk up, you slide this, you bolt this on your Aperture, you slide this into your LX Maker Dovetail or a Fox Alien. What are the other good ones, like Atom Stack? And you know, there's a few out there. But you know, that's about it. This is a very simple rundown. I mean, all you do is you would clip these off, and then you just string new zip ties through, and you reuse the heads right here. It's as simple as that. To take the back fan off, everything has real simple connectors on the driver board. It's very much streamlined, and it's a lot simpler. Yes, this design, depending on, I don't know whether you think it's so ugly it's cool, or whether you think it's just badass looking, but you know, this was a lot higher of a risk. Say, like, you know, if one fan goes dead, you know, accidents happen. I get bad fans. The fans are rated for 16,000 hours. I don't know why they would die, but things happen again. So now there's 3 chances for things to happen, and it's a soldered wiring harness. In comparison, this module has, you clip these 4 things, and literally you unplug the wiring harness, you unplug the driver, you unplug the laser diode, and everything just, you know, 4 bolts, 4 zip ties, done. No screws, no nothing. It's not to say that this module isn't good. I mean, shoot, it worked, but when you stare at something long enough, you start to see some drawbacks. You start assembling things enough and go, man, why did I do that? But mostly it was Nicky Norton prompting me and teaching, you know, like to watch that video about fans, and figured out like how to increase the airflow on both sides of it. Now when you're gonna use my driver, so I've got these vanes in there where the fan comes right up and sits against the vanes, so that should help direct the airflow, and it'll provide a space for the driver board and the heat sinks. That's the V2 module in a nutshell. You know, if anybody has any questions or suggestions, I'm always open to that, and especially like you know, I love seeing what people do with my lasers work-wise. It'd be cool to see if any cool suggestions out there. But anyway, it's early and I haven't had my like morning coffee, so I'm gonna go do that. And that's the V2 module, and that's the housing for the 2-watt, the up-and-coming 3.5-watt, the up-and-coming 5-watt, and the, of course, 7+ watt model, which if you go 100% power, it will hit 8 watts. So good luck out there. Wear your damn safety glasses.